What's up, yo? Welcome to my first YouTube video. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know in time this will get better, so please stick with me. Today we're going to start off talking about some changes you can make in the beginning of this year. This is January of 2026 to radically shift your life, and not just for this year, but for years to come. I've taken a bunch of notes. I'll be succinctly telling you about these, and I hope that you implement them because I have been, and I have seen crazy shifts going on with my abilities and my enjoyment in life and the trajectory that I'm on. And I want that for everybody I meet. Everybody has their own story. Everybody should be able to have these things, at least on their side, in their corner, to set themselves up for whatever they're meant to do. So without further ado, let's get started. So the good news is, if you want to create immediate change in your life that compounds into excellence across everything you do in your life, you don't need to make a huge change everywhere. You just need to make small changes that all add up. And before you start making excuses about having to change up your whole life and it's going to be too much, stop. This is all about momentum, and that's built through small shifts over time. So these aren't life-changing things, okay? I mean, they are life-changing things, but they're not that hard to implement. So overall, I want to start with a concept that frames why this is so important. And it's called the Marginal Decade. Peter Attia has talked at length about it. If you see any of his podcasts, I highly recommend them. So the Marginal Decade is the last decade of your life. Something you don't normally think about, but all of what you're doing leading up to that is going to either make it an easy marginal decade or a difficult one. And a lot of society is choosing the hard life by not choosing a hard life. See what I did there? What we're talking about today is choosing to make slight changes that will add up, be a little bit harder now, but make you feel better, make you more performance-based, your mind think better, feel better, and over a longer time so that overall you have an easier life. And so to his credit, Peter has a fantastic metaphor that I loved and I want to share with you. Imagine at the beginning of your life, you're in a glider, you're at the top of the mountain when you're born. Woo! Things you do in life can make that glider drop faster. Smoking, lack of exercise, traumatic injuries. Or you can find a hot spot, and if you circle in it, that glider rises up again. Because as this glider falls down, I didn't explain that part. As the glider falls down, that's like your metaphor towards death. Kind of extend how long you're out here flying, how much beautiful scenery you see with people you love, right? And then eventually, you still plummet. But you had a much better flight. Let's start with the most underrated habit, walking. Most people, when they think of exercise and getting in shape, they overlook walking. I don't know why we do that, but it's so common where you're like, it doesn't count because it's literally so easy. Walk more. It's a great starting point. It's super accessible. You don't need any equipment. There's no gym equipment or gym membership needed. You can do it with your friends. You can do it on the phone. You can do it while you eat. Such a low barrier to entry that you really don't have a good excuse for not doing it. Walk more. So a recent study came out that is something you should know about. You know when you're really tired after you eat a big meal and you want to go take a nap, especially Thanksgiving, right? We all know. You can counteract that by just walking for about 10 minutes after you eat. You're signaling to the body that we're not going to just go nap after this and digest all this big meal we had. We're going to keep moving, and it kicks off metabolic processes and prevents that sluggish-itis feeling, right? So the study that was done is right here. Look into it if you want. What it says essentially is blood sugar retention from that walking is what they were measuring in this study. And they found that it didn't matter if you did 10 minutes or 30 minutes. There was an insignificant change in the two. Just walk 10 minutes after you eat, you'll feel better. Just walk more in general, you'll feel better. Up next is movement. There's a problem in our Western society where we almost think if you don't go to the gym, you're doing it wrong. It's nonsense. In general, you just need to move. Earlier today, I was watching some guys at work pick up big, heavy things. That's their job. They can't bend their knees. They can't hold themselves in a low squat. The young kids are doing it, and who knows how long they'll be able to do it before they're in the same position as these other guys. The reason why is they're not practicing that movement. If you don't use it, you lose it. Just move your body. We don't need to be this big bodybuilder thing. I think that's going away, and you just really want to think about that marginal decade. When I am 80 years old, I don't want to be jacked. You won't be anyway. What I want to be when I'm 80 is still able to bend down and play with my grandchildren, pick up the Legos off the ground, push them on the swing. I don't need to be the largest grandpa at the playground. I just want to be able to be there with them. Another downside that's really not thought about too much is all that working out sometimes is what creates these injuries. Torn ACLs, muscle strains, back injuries. People going too hard, ego lifting, whatever you want to call it, poor form, because they're wanting to focus on more size, I think, and the looks, the aesthetics, when really if you would just focus on full range of motion stuff at low weight, you'd be in a much better position long term. And with all of these things, consistency beats intensity every single time. Making it a habit is where the success is at. That's the secret sauce, okay? We're a few weeks into 2026. You've probably already forgotten about your resolution. It's because you didn't make it a habit. You may have bit off more than you could chew, and you recognize I wasn't actually prepared for the promises I made to myself. Make this your identity. Just pick one. Stick with it for a while. Make it your identity. Make it really how you live. And then you can think about adding more. If you want to take it down to an absolutely ridiculous level, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has a fantastic story about a guy who just drive to the gym. Be there for 5 minutes and leave. And you're going, what can you even do in 5 minutes? What change would that make? It wouldn't. It didn't. But what it did is in his mind made him realize, I am someone who goes to the gym. Undeniable proof that I drive my car to the gym. I'm there. Maybe I touch a machine. I drive back home. Once that became his identity, he said, I'm someone who goes to the gym. Little by little, that small little change compounded. He started lifting a few things, and then he went home. Suddenly, he was there for an hour, and suddenly he's losing weight and getting stronger. It all started with just for months at a time, him driving to the gym and going back home. And you say, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. I would never do that. Guess what? It's been a decade since then. The guy's still doing it. He's still in great shape. It all started with that initial small shift. Okay, so the next one is strength. Strength is important because as you age, you're naturally going to get weaker. From here on out, studies say if I don't do my best to prevent this, we'll continue to lose muscle size and strength. And what you see in a lot of old people, trip very easily. They can't bend down, very stiff because they don't have the strength in those lengthened positions, squatting down. Strength is one of the most highly correlated predictors of longevity, how long you're going to live, that we have. The more you have that strength, you're most likely going to live for longer, barring natural events. Same thing in your legs. The longer you can pick your legs up, you're more mobile, you're more independent. You can go do your grocery shopping by yourself as an 80-year-old. You can affect strength. The body will always adapt no matter what age you're at, which is the beautiful thing about our bodies. So it's never too late to start. And that's huge to hear because right now you're thinking, I'm past my prime, it's not going to happen for me. Why even start? Don't think that at all. Just get in there and start doing it. Make it simple. Keep showing up. It'll work. It's important when you're training strength to also focus in some cardio. You can do some walking, because you do some light jogging. Maybe it's swimming. Maybe it's bike riding. Something, getting your heart rate up and running and moving, while also other days picking up heavy stuff. So the reason why this is so important, especially in your marginal decade, this study right here is of 428 hip fracture patients aged 65 and older. The risk of all-cause mortality increased threefold over the general population. Why? Because these seniors didn't fully recover and lost their ability to walk and perform movement independently. Can't walk again, so that hip fracture eventually leads towards more and more atrophy, less independence, more reliance on others, more medications, other issues pop up, and then they die. It's just how things seem to go. If you can prevent that, the longer you can prevent that, the better. VO2 max is also one of the strongest predictors of mortality risk we have. VO2 max is your body's ability to use oxygen during max exertion. A simple way to estimate is the Cooper test, which is when you run as hard as you can for 12 minutes, and then you measure how far you went, and then do some calculation you can find on the interwebs, and it'll tell you if you have a good number. So that VO2 max is essentially how effectively your body can use oxygen when really trying hard. It's a great indicator of how healthy you are. So then there's also zone 2 training. More than walking, but not much. It's enough to where you can't maintain a full conversation while doing the exercise, but you can still talk and say some words, so you're not fully exerting yourself. So think light jogging, moderate cycling, things like that. You know when you walk upstairs and you see people that are all out of breath, their aerobic base is like none. Your zone 2 conditioning increases your ability to walk up those steps and not feel your heart pounding and running out of breath. So another one people don't think about, honestly, and you don't see many people training, is balance, stability. Back to people falling over and breaking their hips and things like that. They probably don't have great stability. There's a lot of little stabilizer muscles in a lot of your joints, especially your feet, your ankles. The beautiful thing about a lot of what I'm telling you is it's so simple, there's really no reason you shouldn't be doing it. Stability training is one of those as well. All you have to do is stand on one foot and balance. And it's even harder if you close your eyes and try to balance and not fall over. That's simple. Okay, this wouldn't be a health and fitness video if we weren't talking about nutrition. Everyone knows it. Deal with it. It's true. Okay, I've been on a whole food diet for 2 years now. I will never go back to a ultra processed high sugar diet as much as I enjoyed that for 30 something years. The reason why: my brain works better, my energy levels are consistent, and it's building me muscle. So much of the standard American diet is not protein focused, which we found we are generally way underserved in protein and fiber, so prioritize those two, and then everything else kind of follows behind them. Instead, the standard American diet is so over sugared and salted and processed, and it's all the worst things that could happen for you. Let's say instead of ice cream, you limit that for a while and then break your brain of wanting that dopamine loop. A small thing, start doing another small thing, start doing another simple thing, but maintain all those small changes. And I'm at the point now where I don't even want to eat that food. It's not a challenge. At first, yeah, I loved ice cream. You can't get me to eat ice cream now, except for special occasions. And what's really scary is you've noticed a lot of Alzheimer's cases, I'm sure, and sadly my uncle suffered from it, and other people that I know, their grandparents have suffered from it, and it's such a hard disease to watch people go through. It genuinely is one of the worst ones, to just see somebody become not themselves and forget everyone they love. It is god awful. It's almost like diabetes of the brain. Two things you can do is, first of all, stop eating so much sugar. Secondly, muscles are what the body uses to absorb sugar first and foremost when there is a spike. So the more muscle mass you have, the more effective it is at handling that, which then could help prevent things like dementia. We're not getting enough protein. It is a lot you need to try to get into, which means you need to prioritize it. So whey protein shake, casein protein shakes at night, eggs, meats, things like that are very important. You want about 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. We're in America, so we're going to say about a little under a gram per pound. So if I'm 200 pounds, I want to get close to 200 pounds, let's say 180 to 200 grams, of protein every single day. So to hit that target and be realistic, you need to get like at least 20, more like 30 to 50 grams with every meal, and also maybe even some snacking or supplementing with a protein shake. The most important lever of all that you can pull is right here: sleep. Go to bed. Honestly, go to bed and then wake up early at the same time and do it over and over. Start small, once again, is the moral of the story. But sleep is so important. Dr. Peter Attia, who a lot of this research was done about, also says that before diet and exercise, he would focus on someone's sleep patterns to make a huge change in their life. So that's how important it is. Probably should have led this video off with that, but here we are. Saying I can survive on 5 hours of sleep a night doesn't matter. 7 to 8 is what the science says. The easiest way to do that is set a consistent wake time. For me, if I'm going to make myself wake up at 6 in the morning, I'm going to be tired by the end of the night. The go to bed time will be a byproduct of the waking up time. And then when you wake up, Dr. Huberman has made it very clear: go outside, get some sunlight in your eyes, and especially if you can walk for 10 minutes or so to get the body moving around as well. Don't look at the phone, don't snooze, just hear the alarm, get up, get moving, get the sunlight in your eye. It sets your circadian rhythm, which then makes it easier for you to wake up that early the next time. So, last thing real quick, phones and doom scrolling, put that phone down. Put it down! All that mindless scrolling is not doing you any good. Do you realize how much of a rarity it is that we're on this planet and have all this time? And it's really a finite amount of time that goes by very quickly. Stop wasting it on the Instagram, on the Netflix. Put that down, do something better with your time. Connect with people you love. Okay, so in recap, everything we talked about ties back to the marginal decade: walking after meals, walking in general, building strength, building balance, training your heart and lungs, sleeping consistently, putting this phone down, and making small adjustments with these. I'm telling you all these things. Start with sleep, I think, first and foremost, but don't do all the things at once. You want to just a little bit of this, stick with it for a long time, a little bit of that, stick with it for a long time, and make it part of who you are, and watch your life grow. 2026, we're here to make a change. I want the best for you. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video. Hopefully I get better with this as time goes on, but thank you very much for being here, and I really do want to help you as much as I can, and on the same time, I'm helping myself, so let's go kill it this year. Let's have a good year. Till next time, take care of yourself, and love yourself.